When you get a default on your credit report, man, it can feel like you've hit a brick wall. It's super stressful, it's discouraging, but I need you to hear this loud and clear. This is not the end of your financial story. Getting back on your feet is totally possible, and today I'm going to walk you through the exact steps to rebuild your score. So, let's dive in.
And you know, this feeling right here, it's so common. This is from a real person who was right there, feeling completely overwhelmed and frankly, alone. If that sounds anything like you, just know you're not the only one. The journey back starts with understanding what's going on, not with shame.
All right, so before we can start rebuilding, we got to do a little damage assessment. We need to break down exactly what a default is and why it packs such a punch to your score. Really getting this is the foundation for everything we're going to do next.
I mean, just look at this pie chart. See that huge slice? 35% of your entire credit score, the single biggest piece of the puzzle, is your payment history. A default is pretty much the worst kind of missed payment, so it's a direct haymaker punch to the most important factor. That's why the score drops so hard and so fast.
And this isn't something that just disappears in a few months. This negative mark can hang around on your report for up to 7 years. But here's the good news, and this is important. That 7-year clock starts ticking from the date you first missed the payment that led to the whole mess. It doesn't restart later. So that clock is probably already running for you.
Okay, damage report is done. Now let's start building our recovery toolkit. Before you even think about picking up the phone or making a payment, you've got to understand your options. Because in this situation, knowledge really is power.
Okay, this right here is a total game changer. You see, the old credit scoring models used to punish you for a collection account forever, even if you paid it off. But the newer scores, the ones most lenders are using these days, like FICO 9 and VantageScore, they work differently. Once a collection account has a zero balance, these new models completely ignore it. This is a huge opportunity for your score to bounce back.
So, knowing that modern scores ignore paid collections, what's the best way to get there? Well, you've basically got 3 main paths. Paying in full is obviously what future lenders love to see. Debt settlement costs you less. You might only pay 40 to 60% of what you owe, but lenders will see you didn't pay the full original amount. And then there's the holy grail, pay for delete.
Pay for delete is this awesome negotiation tactic. Basically, you offer to pay the debt, but you make a deal. In exchange for your payment, the collection agency has to completely remove the negative account from your credit report, like it never even happened. This gives you the biggest possible boost to your score. Now, it doesn't always work, especially with the original bank, but with smaller collection agencies, it is always worth asking for.
All right, our toolkit is ready. It is time for action. The best recovery plan isn't about just one thing. It's a two-pronged attack. We're going to fix the damage from the past while at the same time building a new, positive credit history for the future.
And this is the secret sauce right here. You can't just do one and not the other. Think about it. Paying off an old debt is great, but if you don't have any new credit, lenders have no idea if you're reliable now. And opening a new credit card won't help much if that old default is still dragging your score through the mud. You have to do both, together.
So you're probably wondering, how do I build new credit when my score is low? Well, you use tools that were designed for this exact situation. A secured card is where you put down a small cash deposit and that becomes your credit limit. A credit builder loan kind of works in reverse. You make payments, they go into a savings account, and you get the money at the end. The most important part is that both of these report your on-time payments to all 3 credit bureaus, which is exactly what you need to build that new, positive track record.
And look, this isn't just theory. This stuff really works. Check this out. Someone went from the 520s to the 720s. That's a 200-point jump in about a year just by using these tools. It's proof that making consistent on-time payments is the fastest way to prove that things have changed.
Now, there's a third strategy, sometimes called piggybacking. It's where you become an authorized user on someone else's credit card. If you have a family member or a trusted friend with amazing credit and they add you to one of their old accounts, all their years of positive history can show up on your report. This can give you a really quick boost, especially for your credit history length. Just make absolutely sure you trust this person, because if they mess up, it'll hurt your score too.
So, you've started cleaning up the past, you're building a new future. Now what? We need to make sure this never happens again, right? It's time to lock in those gains by building some solid habits for long-term financial health.
These are the rules to live by from now on. Number 1, and it's the most important, pay every single bill on time. The easiest way to do that? Automate, at least the minimum payments. Also, don't close your old credit cards. Even if you don't use them, they're helping your credit age.
And finally, you have to be your own biggest advocate. Pull your credit reports for free every year and fight every single error you find.
Okay, remember that pie chart? Let's talk about the second biggest piece, credit utilization. It's just a fancy term for the percentage of your available credit that you're using. The golden rule is simple. Always try to keep your balances below 30% of your total limit. So on a card with a $1,000 limit, you never want your balance to go over $300.
But if you really want to optimize your score, if you want to get into that top tier, this is the number to aim for. Keeping your utilization under 10% is what the pros do. It shows lenders you have incredible control over your finances and that you're a super low-risk borrower. This is what separates a good score from a truly great one.
So we've got the strategies and the habits. But how long is all this going to take? It's a fair question, and it's really important to set realistic expectations. Rebuilding your credit is a marathon, not a sprint. Patience is going to be your best friend.
Think of your recovery in phases. In the first few months, you can get some quick wins by disputing errors and lowering your balances. Then, within about 6 to 12 months, you'll start building real momentum as all those new on-time payments start to add up. And for the long haul, as you keep up the good work, that old default will fade more and more into the background until, poof, after 7 years, it falls off your report completely.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that you are in the driver's seat. The past is the past, but the choices you make starting today are what will shape your financial future. Your comeback story literally starts now. So the only question is, what's your first step going to be?